modern manhood. Stand up and man up, America. And now your hosts of Man Up, Antonio and Carl.
Greetings, Earthlings, and welcome to another edition of Man Up, coming to you from the luxurious studios of KRLA 870 AM, The Answer, in Los Angeles. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Carl Kozlowski, and with me are...
Yo, Antonio Delgado.
And...
Ron Pearson.
And this week, our very special guest is superstar comic Tom Papa. You'll be hearing more about him in the second half of the show. And so now, as always, we're going to kick off the news of the week, brought to you by our news director, Angela Mancini. And now, our lead story.
And now,
The lead story.
Okay, so you might have heard people say throughout your lives that politicians are all clowns. Well, over in the Ukraine, they've actually elected a stand-up comedian as their president this week. And it's caused quite a shock to the world scene. What do you guys think?
That is not funny. I do not like it. This is not good. Очень плохо. Очень плохо.
Well, I think it shows a lot of progress in Russia. You know, people...
Not Russia, though. This is the Ukraine.
Oh, oops. Okay, well,
Russia.
in general, that area, I don't know.
We just lost a
In
bunch
general.
In
general, that area. It's outside
base.
the United States. Those people over there.
Well, so much for the podcast breaking over there, huh?
Well, the Ukrainians were once part of the Soviet
Yeah,
Union,
that's
but
what I
they're their
meant.
own people and now their own country separate. And Putin has gone in and tried to take over the Crimean Peninsula and done it pretty much illegally. And our government was supposed to back the Ukraine because we told them, if you give us your nuclear weapons after the Soviet Union fell, we said, we'll protect you, Ukraine. And they said, okay. They gave over their nuclear weapons. And when Putin came in, our former president did nothing to help them. And so now he took over the Crimean Peninsula. And I've been there, by the way. Привет, как дела? You know why?
Well,
because I'm a spy, Carl. Mr. Kozlowski, Polish name. I follow you around.
all I was saying was that I think that basically it's progress in general in that region of the world. When Yakov Smirnov had to run for his life 40 years ago, and now we have, get this guy's name, Volodymyr Zelensky. Is that a name, or am I clearing my throat? I don't know. But anyways, he won a landslide. So
Look, guys,
Well,
right? Go ahead. No, Ron, go ahead,
Well,
buddy.
I get of course, a comedian won because politics is a joke.
Look, right now, man, people are desperate. They're going to the anybody else but the corrupt
politicians?
who's in charge.
Yes.
I mean, here in Minnesota, they elected a dog mayor, man.
That's true, right?
Yes.
They elected a dog, but they also put in a comedian in the Senate, right?
Yes.
Al Franken.
And hey, brother,
right.
they put Jesse the Body Ventura, a wrestler, as governor of the state. Let me control you or I'll put you in a sleeper hold.
Imagine the debates between him and Arnold.
well, yeah, we're on a roll here in America. We had Arnold, as you mentioned, Al Franken, Jesse Ventura, and now we're starting to rub off on the rest of the world. And Donald Trump, of course,
Hey,
giant reality star TV.
My favorite presidents weren't politicians. Harry Truman did very little. He wasn't a career politician, but he ended up in the Congress, and in the middle of his first term is when FDR needed a new running mate for his fourth term. So they go, oh, let's pick this guy. He's young and they'll like him. So he was vice president for only less than 2 years, like a year and a half.
Yeah.
And he didn't know anything. He would just hang out with senators and play cards all day. And the next thing you know, he's president. But he did some of the greatest things. But he wasn't a politician. He's a guy with common sense. I like that.
But yeah.
Reagan was the same way, guy with common sense. I mean, he was governor too, but prior to that, he wasn't a career politician. And I think Trump's the same way.
But that's exactly why people vote these kind of people in, because they're wild cards, man. You have a chance of getting someone great
or an idiot.
Or an idiot. Because with a standard politician, you know what you're getting, a corrupt professional, you know, a corrupt life. But when you vote those kind of people in, man, you really have a chance of striking gold or
Right.
something else that's brown.
Well, I think sometimes people don't vote for who they want; they vote against the other person.
Yeah, well,
I mean that happens
Oh
in
my
my
God.
family. Right? That happens in my family all the time. It's like, oh, okay, I'll vote corn dogs for dinner because I can't take another meal of that Dyson dinosaur-shaped chicken nuggets again.
Look, I registered Democrat for the first time in my life in 2016 just so I could vote against Hillary twice. That was my thrill of the year. So, yeah.
Explain how that works, Carl.
Well, I mean,
So you registered
Bernie
Democrat.
Sanders, and then in the general election, you don't have to be. It doesn't matter what party you're in, but in the primary, I voted for Bernie Sanders, and you had to be Democrat. Yeah. But I got to switch back now. But anyways, yeah, I forgot.
No, but it really is art imitating life and life imitating art. It's back and forth, man.
Well,
There's no division.
Right. Well, get this: the guy who won the presidency, he plays a role on TV on a sitcom of a teacher who improbably becomes president in the hit television series "Servant of the
Oh, that's
People."
right.
Yeah.
So life imitated the art there. That's amazing.
So we should start a show about something that we want to do, and maybe it'll come true. Like The Secret, you know, you see it, you envision it, and it happens.
Well, if that's true with all my acting roles, I'm going to be a cop, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a lawyer, and I'm going to be a bartender most of the time.
Wow. Well, another weird thing is he ran against a billionaire candy tycoon.
Yeah.
That's what the president was.
Yes,
Poroshenko.
because I made my billions off of chocolate.
So basically, Willy Wonka. He ran against Willy Wonka. Yeah. But as Mr. Zelensky said, that I can say as a citizen of Ukraine, 12 countries of the post-Soviet Union, look at us, everything is possible. So, I mean, how do you think the world is going to accept this guy? Is he going to be asked to do a set before every speech he gives at the UN? Or?
Wouldn't that be great, though? Comedy's a great wall breaker. I mean, you know, the more jokes you do, it disarms people because they like you more. Why not?
So he'll be breaking walls instead of building walls.
Yes. Well, honestly, that's Ronald Reagan's charm was he was.
Oh, that's
able to
right.
be
Tear down the wall.
Super funny. Well, not just tear down the wall, but he was really funny.
Oh, yeah,
and he could make fun of himself, and he could, you know.
Isn't that the power of comedy, though? That something isn't funny unless there's some truth to it, right? That's what we all laugh.
Correct. But often there's just a perceived truth. So you could take, if enough people believe a non-truth, you can still make a joke about it. But in general, every joke has to have a truth in it.
Yeah. People won't resonate with it. It won't be funny. Yeah.
Exactly.
And, well, they say that the end of the article that I found pulled up about this, another guy named Volodymyr, I don't know what's going on in that country, but anyway, Osechik, he says, I hope Mr. Zelensky turns out to be a leader like Ronald Reagan. So I guess we should all hope that, and that'd be a great thing.
I just find it really funny with a guy with the last name of Kozlowski is making fun of these other names.
He makes fun of himself.
And my middle name is Casimir. So, yeah. Anyway.
In class, he told the teacher was like, Kozlowski, that's such a stupid name. Oh, that's me.
Wow, thank you. I'm just getting it all sides today. The pre-show was really brutal. So, folks, I think it's time for us to move on with our lead story 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Lead story 2, Electric Boogaloo.
All right, so Elizabeth Warren is one of the 2,000 people running for president on the Democratic Party, and she's kind of faded from her, her peak popularity a couple of years back, I think. So she's thrown out this really gigantic idea that's kind of nuts. She wants to make a $640 billion student loan cancellation program, and she's going to do it by basically putting a new tax on what she calls super millionaires. And I can give more details in a moment. What say you guys about this?
Well, it doesn't surprise me. Another politician coming out, just like those TurboTax commercials. Everything's free, 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 free. And they're all just trying to do their best impression of Oprah Winfrey. And you get a car, and you get a car, and you get free tuition, and you get a house. I mean, it's insane.
Yeah.
You know what? If the Democrats want to win, they should put that mayor dog in Minnesota up there, and I'd vote for him.
Wait, well, to explain who is this?
It's a
dog.
It's a dog that won the election to be mayor of Minnesota, dude. He's cute, man.
The mayor of Minnesota. Wow. Okay.
He's cute.
You get kibbles and bits, and you get kibbles and bits, and you get a dog bone.
Yeah, and you get a chew toy. Yeah.
But
man.
Here's the deal. The problem that bugs me in the overall scheme is that politicians come up with an idea and they think it's a great idea, and they break a law of economics, and it causes a financial problem. And then they never blame the law they set up. They blame something else and then go try and fix it. Mm-hmm. So what happened years ago is the government said, let's get more people in college. Let's get more people in college. So they do that. Now, when we went to college, the three of us, you either had to get a loan, you paid for it yourself, or your parents paid for it. Mm-hmm. Now, every kid gets $28,000 sight unseen. You don't have, everyone does. Mm-hmm. And now they've created, the demand has gone so much higher. So now the schools keep spending money. So now the schools are overspending. Mm-hmm. You realize most of these campuses are they're like country clubs. Most of the kids' standard of living will go down after they come out of college. When we went to college, our shelves was 2 milk carton crates and a board, right? Mm-hmm. And we slept on a futon. They're living life fairly good in these schools. The food is off the chain. I mean, it's all who can top each other. So they're spending money like it's going out of style. And then these kids get out and they have these debts. So with this $28,000, they're bringing a lot of kids that maybe would have gone into a trade before, and they're not doing the trades. They're going into college. They realize, oh, this is tough. And when that $28,000 runs out, they drop out. That's why all the kids who go to junior college first can almost automatically transfer in, because enough kids are dropping out because they're running out of their money.
Wow.
Yeah.
The sad part about it is, Carl, this is the only debt that does not get erased if you declare bankruptcy.
Wow.
So now you've taken, some politicians said, we're going to get you to college. They give them all these good promises, but in reality, they are going to drop out of school, so they'll feel like a failure. They have a $28,000 debt that they can't get rid of, and now they're going to go, if they're lucky, be a barista at Starbucks. You've screwed up their life. And now Elizabeth Warren is trying to do another thing, and instead of blaming that policy, she's going and saying, oh, yes, it's out of hand. We have to help. So now let's spend other people's money and let these people off the hook. And, I mean, you're just creating a cascade of problems.
You know what, guys? People forget that this.
Sorry, that was a long speech.
I know it's good.
No, I felt like I was on the Hannity show.
Ron 2020.
Well, I have to add one more important piece of information.
Uh-oh.
Because of the increased demand from this $28,000, from the time you and I, the three of us, went to college, school is 2.5 times more expensive than it was 30 years ago after adjusting for inflation. That's inflation-adjusted dollars. It's 2.5 times more expensive.
Wow.
Because it's all supply and demand.
Yeah.
And I have a friend a few miles from here with a carpet store. He can't get people to lay carpet for him. He goes, if you work as hard as you and I do, if you have the right truck and the right tools, I could support you at about $150,000 a year. $150,000 a year.
Well, there's John Ratzenberger, who played Cliff, the mailman on Cheers back in the day. He's now still acting, but he's also a conservative activist. And I saw him a couple of years back. I should get him on the show. He's got an initiative. He's begging people to help let him get the word out that all our trades are vastly understaffed.
Correct.
And everybody's looking down on this stuff.
Plumbers, welders, electricians, carpet layers.
This all started also back right after World War II, when the GI Bill emphasized, hey, we'll put you through college, and people started looking down on the blue-collar trades, and the blue-collar trades are essential to society running, and they pay better.
Correct.
It's crazy.
Well, to me, it's because the government gets involved where they shouldn't get involved. Do you realize that in around just past the turn of the century, Tuskegee, are you familiar with the University of Tuskegee?
Yep. Yeah.
they were putting out more self-made millionaires than Harvard, Princeton, and Yale combined.
Wow.
And then
And that was African American guys in an age when it was tough to do that.
correct, and
That's
they
amazing.
were putting out tons of self-made millionaires. And then Woodrow Wilson came in and said, "No, let the government help you and take care." And the government became the steward of that community instead of letting that community